Today on New England Living, we'll introduce you to one of the most unique and exclusive dining experiences in the world. Private dining inside the top of a lighthouse tower. Plus, award-winning celebrity chef Carl Dooley teaches us how to create a simple and elegant seafood dish you can create at home. And our design experts offer up some tips on the latest home trends, from the many benefits of daylighting to open concept living at a Rhode Island residence with ties to one of American history's most infamous figures. It all starts right now on New England Living. New England has a style all its own. The people, the history, the culture. Join us as we discover the faces and places, the design and destinations, everyone and everything that makes New England extraordinary.
This is getting a little spicy.
Love the place you call home with New England Living. The lighthouse is one of the most iconic symbols of our region. In New England alone, there's close to 200 of them, but none are quite as unique as this one. It's time to update your bucket list for one of the most romantic and exclusive experiences in the world. Private dining on top of a lighthouse filled with history. And it happens right here at the Rear Range Light in Newburyport. Jay Hyland is the president and founder of the Lighthouse Preservation Society.
This is the best view in town. This is a one of a kind as far as we know. We don't know anywhere else in the world where you can actually dine at the top of a lighthouse tower.
And what's very cool about this is you're actually the one that came up with that idea.
It was basically a pilot project to show what could be done with an abandoned lighthouse tower.
Built in 1873, this lighthouse is actually a range light, which were once commonly used to navigate narrow channels.
And so they always operated in tandem. There'd be two towers. Usually one was tall and one was short. And the whole idea was when you were coming in, you'd line them up, kind of like, the sights on a gun. And you want to make sure that one was directly over the other. And when you had that configuration, then you knew you were in the channel correctly.
And while this lighthouse doesn't have its own kitchen, they partner with several local Newburyport restaurants to supply food for their guests.
So we'll present you with the menu from the restaurant you've chosen ahead of time when you come here. And really, at that point, it's just like a regular restaurant experience.
Ted Epstein, owner of Loretta, has been in the restaurant business for decades, but now calls Newburyport his home.
Ted is from New York City, so he really knows what he's doing. And when he came here, he really kind of took the downtown by storm, and he's really a great guy to be involved with us.
We've been working with the Lighthouse for more than 5 years now, and being known as one of the finer restaurants in Newburyport, they've been getting many requests for our food to be served there.
So your menu, it has a little bit of everything, but is it safe to say that seafood is the top seller here in Newburyport?
Well, certainly seafood is the top seller because that's what people are looking for when they come to Newburyport, and they are not disappointed with the quality of fish that we have here every day.
So the seafood risotto, we've heard a lot about this dish. It's gotten rave reviews. Tell us what it is.
Well, the seafood risotto is a fresh lobster tail, scallops, shrimp, and a terrific sauce.
Jay Racky is a Newburyport native and head chef at Loretta.
Jay really excels at soups and sauces, and besides the really fresh seafood, that's what really finishes the dish in a really nice way.
First, I'm going to sear the scallops and a couple of shrimp. Just going to sear them for a couple of minutes, or a minute or so, and then I'm going to add some garlic and shallots, a little tomato for the sauce, and then I'm going to add some mussels. And we always treat with a little bit of garlic butter, lobster tail, and just some fresh picked lobster. We like to put the creamy risotto down first with the scallops and the shrimp and the lobster, and then we surround it with the mussels. And now we're going to just grate some cheese, put on top. A little bit of fresh lemon zest, which kind of brightens it up a little bit. Some microgreens and some olive oil. And that is our seafood risotto. Order up.
How many
many stairs do they have to climb?
There's 72, and then once you get up to the very top, it's a vertical ladder.
Okay.
And everyone always pauses, and the question everyone always asks me is, it's at least 8 times up and down.
Wow, so
Yeah.
you get your steps in definitely with this job. Now, how many different restaurants can people choose from?
There's 6 different restaurants here in Newburyport that they can choose from. There's like a steakhouse, and there's a seafood restaurant, and a Thai restaurant, and we also do breakfast and lunch.
What does Jay mean to this lighthouse? Because this was his idea.
Oh, totally. So he's all about preserving lighthouses. That's, you know, he's gone before Congress, and the dining thing was just a way to get capital so that he could save the lighthouses all up and down the East Coast. Everyone's always in such a good mood and happy to be there, so it's definitely a feel-good job.
The history of it is really interesting. It's very rustic. The people there are great people, and the guests that go there are really excited to go there because, again, it's a very unique experience.
It really is, you know, and it really makes me feel so good. I mean, when people really enjoy their time up here, I mean, it's a memorable experience. It's just such a special place, and it's always fun to be part of that.
It's time now to go around New England for a look at some other noteworthy lighthouses that are definitely worth the visit. Built in 1771, Portsmouth Harbor Lighthouse in Newcastle, New Hampshire, was originally one of the first 12 colonial lighthouses built in America and was once inspected by George Washington. Just a short ride north in York, Maine is the famous Cape Nettic Nubble Lighthouse, one of the most photographed lighthouses in New England. Its image was sent into space on the Voyager 1 spacecraft in 1977 as part of a representation of human civilization. Further north in Port Clyde, Maine is the charming Marshall Point Lighthouse with its famously long walkway. It also served as the final destination of Tom Hanks' Run Across America in the movie Forrest Gump. In Shelburne, Vermont, Colchester Reef Light is best known as New England's West Coast Lighthouse, originally built to warn ships away from the dangerous shoals off Lake Champlain's Colchester Point. One of the most unusual lighthouses in America, the cube-shaped New London Ledge Lighthouse reportedly owes its unique design to local residents who wanted a structure that would fit in the style of their own home. It also boasts a legendarily haunted past. Rhode Island's Block Island North Light, located on Sandy Point, also vaunts a one-of-a-kind design and history. Its original keeper was appointed by Abraham Lincoln in 1867 to help promote the island as an upscale Victorian resort. And initially built in 1716, Boston Light on Massachusetts' Little Brewster Island is the oldest lighthouse in North America. It was completely destroyed by British forces at the end of the American Revolution and later rebuilt in 1783. For more notable places around New England, visit cbsboston.com/New England Living. It's time now to check out a breathtaking property with a truly unique history as design expert David Andreozzi shows us how open concept living can transform any home. We're in Middletown, Rhode Island at the Boothden estate, named after its original owner Edwin Booth in 1883. One of the greatest actors of his generation and brother of the infamous John Wilkes Booth.
Welcome to Boothden.
Having restored this sprawling estate to its former glory, architect David Andreozzi prides himself on the fundamentals of good design.
To me, good design is relating to people and culture and history, and that's what sort of makes my architecture unique.
And according to David, it all comes down to creating an open concept.
Open space is everything about good design. Traditionally, in the old days, the hearth would provide the fire, the food, the heat for you to live, especially in New England. Nowadays, the hearth is really the combination of the kitchen and the breakfast area and the family room. That's where everyone lives. Even to the point is that when houses start to get more modern and smaller, in some cases the dining room and the living rooms are actually being pushed away and not part of the design. This relationship between these spaces is the most important part of the entire home. Today's living, and for the last 2 or 3 decades, is all about opening spaces to spaces, rooms to rooms, and I like to say inside rooms to outside rooms. So locking in the interior architecture to the landscape architecture, because those are rooms out there and they need to all tie together. You need to think beyond just the room you're in, and it's all about openness. It's free plan. It's not about one particular room. I think it's really useful for people to think about, how can I bring other parts of my house, the outside of my house, inside? Think about the fundamentals of what's unique about the materials around me that can connect it and make it my own and make it unique to the site that they're working on. You need to be thinking about, in some cases, what ties you into your local vernacular, your local building materials, and your local labor. The fireplace is really designed to connect to the landscape. The stone walls are the exact stone wall pattern that's being used throughout the entire property. One of the unique things about today's modern appliances, it gives you the ability to actually create furniture and custom design around them. In this case, we've taken a design that's based on something that's been around, completely enveloped to the refrigerator and freezer, but then came with a local artisan to come up with custom handles that were made locally to really make it their own. So as you enter the master bedroom, what we tried to do is create as much height as possible, and then we did something totally unique in that we created a ceiling of glass that actually brings all of the light for the bedroom down. Part of the reason that we work with the stained glass, and the same reason we work with our craftspeople, is that we're always looking to bring local craftspeople into our project, and that's supporting the arts, that's being patrons of the arts. Part of custom design, whether it be architecture or interior architecture, interior design, is to really give people things that are unique to their own life. And one thing could be a wine cellar, which we provided downstairs. So come down, let me show you what's unique in this house. So what we did, you'll see a lot in Italy and France, is create a little area outside the wine cellar where we can sit down and have the cheese and the charcuterie and entertain, but have a direct connection through this custom stained glass door into the wine cellar itself. This is another example where you take a single item in a large room and you try and bond it back to the clients. And we just tried to recreate something using local artists, and you can make something that's your own. And you can do that, and it doesn't have to be a whole door or a whole piece of stained glass. And those are the things that make your house your own home.
Coming up after the break, acclaimed chef and Boston native Carl Dooley shows us how to kick up your next dinner with a spicy seafood recipe you're going to love. That's next when New England Living returns.